evening, everyone, and welcome to Covenant House and our first public community event to commemorate Black History Month. Our event features speakers and performers who identify as Black and represent our community of supporters and those working to create change, especially for young people of color. My name is Carlina Mack, and I am Covenant House International's Chief for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I'm so glad you joined us tonight. To those of you who are longtime friends, thank you for your ongoing support. And for those who are getting to know Covenant House for the first time, let me tell you a little bit about us. Covenant House welcomes young people facing homelessness and survivors of human trafficking to our shelters and programs in 33 cities across 6 countries, where our doors are open every day around the clock. Here, young people find a community of relentless support, unconditional love, and absolute respect, and high-quality programs designed to empower them to rise and overcome adversity now and in the future. Last year, across all of our locations, we provided young people with 690,000 nights of housing, served up 1.7 million meals, and provided 30,000 on-site medical visits. This year, we're marking 50 years of service. That is half a century of believing in youth and nurturing their promise, talent, strengths, and courage. In this, our 50th year, we are echoing our young people's call to put an end to youth homelessness and the conditions, structures, and systems that sustain it. You may be asking yourself, what does ending youth homelessness have to do with Black History Month? Well, plenty. One of the many factors that increase the likelihood that a young person will experience homelessness is race. For Black and African American youth, the risk of homelessness is 83% higher than it is for white youth. At Covenant House, nearly 90% of the young people at our residences in the US and Canada are of color. More than half, 58%, are Black or African American. Racism is a root cause of homelessness. It changes the way systems see and interact with a young person, the career and housing opportunities Black youth are afforded, and the dreams they're allowed to have for themselves. And youth who are Black or multiracial and identify as LGBTQ+ experience the highest rates of homelessness. Every day, we are acutely aware that for children, especially teenagers, the impacts of racism can be severe and long-lasting. But we also know that research shows us the presence of caring adults and positive relationships in a young person's life can mitigate the harsh effects of adverse childhood experiences, including racism. Covenant House provides safety and support for our youth and wraps them in unconditional love and absolute respect, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In our 50th anniversary year, Covenant House is celebrating the strength and resilience of our young people and recognizing that they are rising to tomorrow. For our Black and African American youth, shining a light on Black History Month and gathering together as their community of supporters is a way of sharing with them the strength and power of Black leaders who have come before them and of those who walk alongside them now. It offers us the opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to be there for them and with them as they rise to tomorrow. Across our Covenant House locations in the United States, young people and staff are gathering to mark Black History Month in a myriad of meaningful ways. They are celebrating with music, food, and art, creating murals to honor the occasion, holding inspiring information sessions, and much, much more. I'm so grateful to our special guests, Tonya Ingram, Chloe O. Davis, Eric Hutcherson, Wanda Len Miftahi, and the Bedford Stuyvesant New Beginnings Charter School Band for so generously agreeing to share their talent and wisdom and to reflect back to our youth all of their own beauty and potential. Our first guest is a passionate poet and mental health advocate whose third and latest book is called How to Survive Today: Poems, Prompts, and Affirmations for Those of Us Still Finding Our Way. And isn't that all of us? Thank you so much, and here is Tonya Ingram.
Thank you, Carletta. Hi, everyone. My name is Tonya Ingram. I am a poet, a mental health and lupus advocate, and I'm excited to be able to share 2 poems with you all in relation to this event. And the first poem is entitled, Won't You Celebrate With Me, by Lucille Clifton. Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. And the second poem is in response, and it's my poem entitled The Black Girl Miracle Tells Her Sister a Secret, in 3 parts on the corner of 103rd Street and Walton Avenue. 1. A list of things that tried to kill me but failed. Being 12 and unsure of the travel of his hands. The psychiatric hospital I checked into. Lupus strangling my good kidney no longer working. The ex, his reasons for his small love, the doubt, the panic attack at 10. Poisonous men I have taken into my body, the car striking me back to the sidewalk each time I was told my black is an ugly thing. My father I have yet to name, lonely and its stronghold, depression and its kin. Each of these a reason to quit, a reason to close the blinds, a reason to cancel the sun, but instead I celebrate. I fill my cup with the sweetest tea and float in an ocean named after me. I call my mother and thank her for the patience. I bless my curses, how far they bring me, how strong they make me, how I scream at the top of my heart, I am still here. I am still here. I am still here too. And the hopelessness will come, but do not surrender. And they will want to touch your hair, but do not allow them. And they will want and always want, but you are the Genesis, amen. You are the daughter of raised fist, amen. You are the work learning how to be done, amen. You are afraid and brilliant and necessary, amen. Love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. 3, you are running a black girl into her own, amen. And now I'm going to turn it over to Chloe Davis. Thank you.
Thank you, Tonya. Again, I'm Chloe Davis, and I'm the author of The Queen's English, the LGBTQIA+ Dictionary of Lingo and Colloquial Phrases. And I'm just so proud that we truly celebrate, particularly during Black History Month, particularly to celebrate gay, queer, same-gender loving, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, the beautiful people of our queer community, and celebrate our queerness and celebrate our Blackness. And most importantly, when we talk about history, a lot of times we may not know, but when we think about the Harlem Renaissance, when we think about the Mecca and the beauty and the prolific writers and artists of the Harlem Renaissance, we don't always think about the beautiful history of queerness and gayness and same-gender loving and bull dykes and bull daggers, if you know those words. But today I want to talk about that. When we think about the Harlem Renaissance, a lot of times it's often acknowledged that it was just as gay as it was Black. Because when you think again about these prolific writers like Langston Hughes and artists like Josephine Baker and Ethel Waters, Ma Rainey, they were all beautiful Black queer individuals. And so what I want to do today is I want to highlight these individuals, and I also want to highlight what was going on during the Harlem Renaissance that has paved the way not only for our Black LGBTQI+ community, but also just worldwide. So the Harlem Renaissance was known for its music, its vibrancy, right? And the Harlem Renaissance also was known because it was created to give opportunities for Black people to stand firm and authentic in our greatness. And because of that, segregation, I would like to say, beauty came from it, and it was our opportunity to truly show who we are. And so we had beautiful nightlife, right? So when we think about the Savoy Ballroom, or when we think about the Cotton Club, or we think about the Hamilton Lounge, these are places that, Ma Rainey and Bessie Smith and Ethel Waters would perform. Some in drag, some would talk about, I was just as, I don't like no men. I only like women, as Ma Rainey would say. But this was a time that really showcased the vibrancy and the culture of our dance, our music, and our sound. And people would say that over 3,000 people would come to marvel over the dance and the fashion and the language of the Harlem Renaissance, and particularly the language and fashion of the Harlem Renaissance that was deep embedded into the gay and queer community. I have a wonderful example of all the prolific writers and artists that paved the way in my dictionary. So I'm flipping through really fast. But I love this section here. And it's called Lyrics and Literature, the Harlem Renaissance. And it dives into the individuals I was saying. Like, we have Josephine Baker, we have Alan Locke, we have Zora Neale Hurston, we have Langston Hughes, we have Ma Rainey. And there's lyrics about Ma Rainey. She says, I went out last night with a crowd of friends. It must have been women, because I don't like no men. Wear my clothes just like a fan. Talk to the girls just like any old man. And that was a song, Prove It On Me, by Ma Rainey in 1923. But yes, the Harlem Renaissance, it really birthed some of America's most extraordinary intellects, right? And like I said before, it was just as Black as it was gay, right? And I talked about the Savoy Ballroom and the Hamilton Lounge, and it was this spectacle of color where gays and lesbians would dress up in drag, and you hear the new styles of dance, or hear new sounds of music, seeing the new styles of dance. And also a big part of the Harlem Renaissance, when it came to, again, the gay and queer community, was the language, right? So I said it before, bull dyke, bull dagger. Well, bull dyke or bull dagger, Betsy Smith and also Ma Rainey, they were self-acclaimed bull dykes and bull daggers, right? And they were just either meaning the attraction, right? When we talk about our sexual orientation, attraction to another woman, or when we talk about our gender expression, basically having a more masculine flair of expression. But bull dyke and bull dagger, that was empowering, right? And it's interesting how our language over time, when it is used incorrectly or taken from us or appropriated from us, then how things change. So over time, bull dagger, bull dyke was shortened to dyke, and it started to be used as a derogatory term, right? But over time, again, we have the gay and queer community has reclaimed that word to bring it back its power, its original meaning. Bull dyke, bull dagger, those are words that were birthed during the Harlem Renaissance, birthed in the Black LGBTQI plus community. Also words like in the closet, right? In the closet is a term that was used, right, to subtly say that someone was not heterosexual, right, or someone who was queer or gay or same gender loving. It was just an inconspicuous way to say that, they were just part of the community, right? They were family. And also the word in the life. And that was also a way that was saying that, to acknowledge that someone else, was part of the LGBTQI plus community when you were in the life. And again, when you were attending the Savoy Ballroom or attending parties at the Hamilton Lounge, you were definitely in the life. You were able to live and be authentically you in your Blackness, in your queerness, and in all of your authenticity. So here are some other words that I think will be really cool for us to know that were birthed during the Harlem Renaissance and birthed from, our beautiful gay, queer, LGBTQIA plus Black, great, prolific, instrumental, legendary ancestors. But we have bull dyke, we have bull dagger, we have daddy, we have hype, we have in the life, in the closet, nookie, reefa, and scram. All of these words and many more really celebrate that dynamic artistry, queerness, and evolution of being Black and being gay and being same gender loving and being lesbian and being bisexual, pansexual. So I say celebrate all of your greatness, celebrate all of your identity. Again, it's so beautiful to know that being Black and being queer is not just a 2022 thing. This has been in our DNA for a very long time, and I'm so happy that we're able to openly celebrate the beauty of all of our Blackness and all of our greatness. So thank you very much, and I'm turning it over to Eric.
Thank you, Chloe, and I just want to say hi to to our staff, our youth, and all of our donors. Covenant House is just an amazing organization, and I'm really proud to be part of your experience. My name is Eric Hutcherson. I'm an international board member, have been a Covenant House New York board member for several years as well, and it's always been a privilege to be a part of the Covenant House family. I'm coming to you today to talk to you about Black History Month and some of the challenges of DE&I as it relates to our youth and the experiences that they have. As a Black man myself, I've had the challenges of having to figure out to navigate the world of being a Black man, the world of being an executive, trying to figure out how to present myself in the right way. And I know our youth struggle with that every day. It's not easy to try to figure out, one, what am I going to do every day to survive and to have shelter? Two, to make sure that not only am I presenting myself well for potential work opportunities, but just to be able to survive the day. And then three, to do that if you're LGBTQ or if you're Black or if you're Latino or if you're a woman, to try to manage all of that as a young person is not easy. Our staff and our donors are here to be helpful, to encourage you and to give you insights as to how to manage and navigate those really choppy waters. I can tell you, as someone who's been in the work world for many years, I still struggle with some of those same identity issues. I still struggle with some of those same challenges. Even though I've quote unquote made it, I'm still in a position where every day I'm still Black, and every day I'm still a Black man in a world that is difficult to be a Black man. I think that's what Martin Luther King was worried about as it related to Black history and Black History Month as we look forward now. Many, many people in our country and around the world are still trying to figure out, how do we make the most of Black history? How do we take all the good things that have happened over the years that Black people have been able to help create, foster, grow, develop, and turn that into positives for the way people see Black people in our country? Black History Month has always been important to me. It's been a time that I'm always active. I'm always involved. I'm out in the community, and I'm hoping to turn the world more positive about the history of Black people in our country. By the way, social justice is still an important factor in our world. We can see that people are still struggling with the notion that everyone deserves equal justice, that everyone deserves equal opportunity, and that you can walk down the street safely, that you can go into your home safely, that you can be in your community safely, and not be concerned about what's going to happen, about your safety, about your family, and your ability to navigate every day. I sincerely hope that every year we get closer to a world where everyone is on an equal playing field, where everyone feels that their opportunities are the same, regardless of what they look like, where they come from, what their sexual orientation is, or what their gender is. I know we're a long way from that, but I know that with Covenant House and with other organizations like it, we're going to continue to provide these opportunities for our youth, and we're going to continue to strive to be better. Let me make it personal for a second. I've got two young Black men in my house. One is 24, the other is 22. And I know that every day they walk down the street and they get in their cars and they drive down the street hoping and praying that they make it home safely. And I do the same. Our family is always wondering whether or not their Blackness is going to be a negative for them. And I think that's what Black History Month really is about. The history of the trials and tribulations that people of color have gone through over the years to achieve the greatness that we've achieved now. And I do believe that we all have greatness in us. I want every one of you, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what your circumstance, to know that you have greatness in you. And to know that that greatness can come out. And that you should be thinking about, what is it that makes me great? because every one of you, no matter what your circumstances, you have greatness in you, and you can achieve that greatness by simply believing in yourself that I like who I am and I like what I see. Now, I hope that my message has been a positive one. I hope that you all take away any of the things that I hold dear. I hope that every one of you looks inside yourselves and sees that there's opportunity for you, regardless of the circumstances. There is opportunity for you to be great in whatever it is that you decide to pursue. And I hope that everyone here knows that Covenant House here is helping young people achieve those goals. All of our youth around the world, regardless of their circumstances, whether they're in a home situation that is difficult, whether they're in one of our centers around the country or around the world, or whether or not they're young people that have already made it back into the work world and are achieving good results. It is up to Covenant House staff, donors, and youth alike to be able to provide the scenario and provide the comfort that those young people need. I often say the only difference between my kids and those young people in Covenant House is parents and privilege, and it is up to us to provide an environment where they can be successful. Black History Month is a great opportunity for us all to take a step back and just appreciate what the world has had to offer. So I thank every one of you. I thank every one of you for taking the time to listen, and I hope every one of you have the opportunity to give to Covenant House at some point in your near future. Now, I'll turn it over to Wandalynn.
Thank you, Eric, for that great introduction. And I want to say to everyone, buenas noches, assalamu alaikum, and good evening, everyone who's joining us this evening. My name is Wanda Len Miftahi, and I am an alumni of Covenant House. In addition to that, though, I am an artist, a thespian, an activist, and I'm a person who empowers people to move forward. I'm also a mother and a grandmother, and so many other things that I do that I don't need to mention this evening, because tonight what we're focusing on is Black History Month. And I want to let you know what Black History Month means to me. What it means to me is that not only do we go back into the past and we look at what happened in slavery and what our ancestors went through, not only do we look at that and we think of like Harriet Tubman, who at that time, and think about those times, worked so hard to get people through and may help them to be free. We're also going to think about Black history means to me what Malcolm X. But in addition to that, what it means to me is these people, what they did is for me to look back into what they were going through at the times when they were living, and letting me know that I still can make an impact in people's lives. And we can continue to move forward, no matter if those atrocities had occurred, no matter if Emmett Till, no matter if the things that we have going on now with George Floyd and all these other people that are being killed for useless reasons. No matter that there's a homeless situation going on right now, we can still move forward. And when we look at Black history, for me, it's looking back and knowing, yeah, they had challenges and we have our challenges, but we can still move forward and we will not give up. We will not give up until everyone is free, until everyone feels comfortable being their authentic self, until everyone is able to say, well, we have to stand up and empower ourselves and work together as a community. That's what Black history means to me, to empower my neighbor, my sister, my brother, get involved in my community, get involved with the organizations that are there, let you understand that problems reap economics and the Band-Aid effect is no longer acceptable. When we think of things like Tyler, the Creator, for instance, in his song, he has written that they want to kill me just because my skin is Black. That's a reality we still live with. And we're still fighting. We accomplished so much more. And we've accomplished some of those things and we become aware of a lot of things. And we have now had first heart surgeons, first women in the nation was African American to actually do a surgery. She was African American. We had a Shirley Chisholm, okay, in our times. We've had Mahalia Jackson as well. We've had Nina Simone, all these great people, all these scientists. What I'd like to leave with you is to understand that no matter what you've been through, you can overcome your challenges and it be a triumph for you. Understand that your neighbor, you might think is not going through the same thing, but they are. Be there. You can empower them just with a smile. You can empower them with just giving them some food, your neighbor next door. That's empowering them. Sitting there, talking with them, asking them, how are you doing today? So for the youth, I want to say, and everyone else, that, you're on the computer, and as you're Googling Jay-Z and you're Googling Beyonce and seeing what they're doing and how Blue Ivy is living. That's a great thing. I'm going to say I give kudos to Jay-Z and Beyonce for making it, being of African-American descent. But I would like to say to you is, why don't you go Google and think about who was the first scientist? Who was the first person who was the actual mathematician? When you look at the film Hidden Figures, her mathematical calculations helped assist with making the first launch. So as you're Googling, Google that and think about your neighbor. Thank you very much for the opportunity for me to be here today, Covenant House. And thank you everyone for being here and hearing this message. So I'd like to say it's now time to introduce the Bedford Stuyvesant New Beginnings Charter School Choir. Thank you.
Hobari Ghani Covenant House. My name is Daniel Fox, and I'm the music instructor here at Bedford Stuyvesant's New Beginning Charter School. For Black History Month, our students have really been exploring the West African traditions of the griots. The griots were historians, they were musicians, they were poets, they were storytellers, and most of all, they were advisors to kings and queens. And their job was to keep the history and the lessons that were learned from that community. In the same spirit of that, we would like to share with you some of our stories. One story would be Lift Every Voice and Sing. The next story would be Man in the Mirror, because we understood through this exploration that change would not come unless it started with you. So, I hope you enjoy. Sit back, relax. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I will see you later. Bye.
Thank you, Bedford Stuyvesant New Beginnings Charter School, for keeping such a rich tradition of storytelling, music, and spirituals alive. Thanks to all our special guests for recognizing the challenges our young people at Covenant House face and their beauty, strength, and drive. The stories, songs, and poems you've shared are illuminating and inspiring and reveal just so much of the complexity of what it means to be young and Black in America, or young Black and trans, or young Black and dealing with mental health challenges, or young Black and unhoused, or young Black and hopeful. Even as our youth at Covenant House rise to a new tomorrow, we must do the same. It is up to us to confront systemic racism, fight for racial justice, and end youth homelessness. Let's make this year of decisive steps. Let's make this year we come together to build a present and future of safety, healing, and opportunity for all young people.